place. All over the place we cut down trees and wonder why we can't even breathe good oxygen. Cutting down trees when trees actually breathes in carbon monoxide and shoots out oxygen. Don't even understand that you're not even supposed to put a tree in your house. It's idolatry according to God. You're going to have everybody deck trees, and here it is even in the churches. You're going to have trees all up in the churches. And a couple of weeks from now, you're going to have George Bush in front of the White House light up the Christmas tree. Why? Because they are worshiping pagan worships. Let me get it out of the Bible real quick before you go. Read Jeremiah 10:1.
Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
The Lord says, hear the word where I speak unto you. All these churches claim they're following God. This is in the Bible. All the preachers should be reading this to their congregation. Read.
Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
The Lord says, learn not the way of the heathen. Who are the heathen? The other nations. Read.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them.
The heathens are dismayed at the signs because why? They're following other gods. We're not dismayed at the times and what's going on because we understand. The Lord is sending all this for our freedom. Read.
For the customs of the people are vain.
The customs or the traditions like Thanksgiving, Christmas, the customs of the people are vain. What is vain? Nothing to God. Read.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest.
One do what?
Cutteth a tree out of the forest.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, your Christmas tree. Read.
The work of the hands of workmen, which the axe.
With the axe.
They deck it with silver and with gold.
They deck it with silver and with gold. What is that? Silver and gold tinsel. Back then we were using real silver and gold, but now you buy silver and gold tinsel from your galleries and from your Walgreens and deck your trees. The Lord tell you those customs were the customs of the heathens, the people that God wasn't dealing with. Read.
They fasten it with nails, with hammers,
Go ahead.
that it may not move.
They fasten it with nails and hammers that it will not move. Now today they got the little screws on the bottom, and they screw their tree together. Read.
They are upright as the palm tree.
Go ahead.
But speak not.
Go ahead.
They must needs be born because they cannot go.
Go ahead.
Be not afraid of them.
The Lord says, be not afraid of them. Why? Because we were afraid during that time, because if you didn't do their worship, they would cut off your heads and hang it on the tree. A lot of you don't even realize what we're worshiping. The Lord says, we don't even understand what we're worshiping today, man. Do the research. All these days are pagan. They are satanic days. And then we're teaching our children to love these days. If you love your children, if you love your wife, if you love your husband, give them gifts year round. When you love somebody, you don't wait till one day a year to show them you love them. Give it to them year round. Don't wait till Satan's day to do what? To show your people you love them. How can you celebrate Thanksgiving? Go on the reservation and ask the North American Indians about Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Where's their Thanksgiving? Where's their thing? They were slaughtered. They were killed. They were maimed. So I'm not saying to blame other people, but listen, always look at what you're worshiping and what you're handing down to your children. The Indians' land was taken away from them when the Pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock. So how can you, in good conscience, eat that turkey which represents the body of the slain Indians, and that cranberry sauce that represents the blood of the North American Indians? Suppose somebody kicked in your house and killed you and your family, and then 20 years later made a holiday out of it. Think about it, brothers and sisters. I will not eat a drop on that day. I will not drink nothing on that day. Think about it, brothers and sisters. Come on now, you can't make a holiday. Then they teach lies in the school, saying it was a day when the Indians sat down with the Pilgrims and had dinner. But why they didn't tell you what happened once the dinner was done? Over 700 Pequot Indians, men, women, and children were slaughtered. You had the Indians trying to place their children out of the back door and trying to get them out. They were plucking them out, was killing the children as they was running out of the house, like Columbine. Come on, folks. We're even the Gentiles, man. How can you eat on this day, knowing that what this represents? You have the whole country celebrating the slaughter of a people. That ain't right. And we act like the Indians don't exist. They're living here. Total disrespect to them. Each year having a Cowboys and Indians play. playing football. Representing what? The slaughter of the North American Indians. That ain't right. And how can we have people in church praying on this day? Spraying their hands and saying, we have to thank God for this bountiful turkey. What God? What God? What God? We're going to show you what God. Get Isaiah 1 and 13. What God? Because guess what? You are following a God. You are following a God, brother. So let's see what the real God think about these days. Isaiah 1 and 13. Read.
Bring no more vain oblations of incense and abominations into me. The new moons and the Sabbath, the calling of assemblies, I cannot away with.
The Lord says, I cannot away with. He said, all your solemn assemblies, read on.
It is iniquity, even the solemn meeting.
The Lord says, it is iniquity, which is sin, even your solemn meetings. Read.
Your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hateth.
He says, your appointed feasts, my soul hateth. Why do God hate our appointed feasts? Because guess what? We're not doing it to him anymore. We're doing these feasts directly to another God.
They are a trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them.
The Lord says the days we're celebrating is trouble to him. He's weary to bear them while he's on the throne. Why? Because Satan have taken all his holy days. No one even understands the holy days that the Lord set up. Because Satan have now taken all the days. Read.
And when you spread forth your hands, I will hide mine eyes.
And when you spread forth your hands to pray over your turkey, and over your cranberry sauce, and over your stuffing, and over your corn, the Lord said he will what?
I will hide my eyes from you.
I will hide my eyes from you, my face from you. Why?
Yea, when you make many prayers, will not hear. I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood.
The Lord says when you make your many prayers on your food, he will not hear because your hands are full of blood. Why? You're teaching your children to follow Satan too. You're teaching your children, you're sacrificing your children to this other God. Not the God of Israel that delivered his people out of the hands of Egypt. We're following the gods of the Egyptians, the gods of the Babylonians, the gods of the Romans, the gods of the Greeks. No one knows about the God of Israel anymore. That's what's wrong. And when we spread forth our hands to pray over this food, the Lord's going to turn his face from us. That's why a lot of your prayers are not being answered, because you're following a new God, not the God that delivered our people out of Egypt. I understand why George Bush and all the elites are following them, because now by them sacrificing on that day and doing all the things on that day, their God, which is Satan, is blessing them. But why is the poor following these days is what I'm trying to find out. Where is your blessing? Don't you know that you're poor and you're living in substandard living because you went against your God? That's why you're in your condition, because we went against our God, folks. And the only reason you're still under their hand is because they got you following their God. That's why you're still under George Bush. That's why you're still under the Europeans. That's why you're still under, because you're following the God the Lord said we're supposed to reject. The day we start rejecting these days and fasting on these days and coming back to our God, the Lord's going to take this whole world down. He's going to take the Gentiles world down. How can the churches say they're righteous and they're following Gentile pagan worships?
Man, we're telling you, brother.
You got all your preachers following this and teaching their congregation to follow this. It ain't right, brothers and sisters.
It's a shame, brother.
It's a shame.
Yes, it is.
Who's talking about the real God? No one.
Good question.
That's why the Gentiles are ruling right now, because they're following their God. And guess what? While you're praying over your food and doing animal sacrifices, because that's what it is. Look how many turkeys going to die in the next week. That's a sacrifice. While you're sacrificing animals, you got your elites and your presidents and your queens of England and your popes sacrificing people. Sacrificing young children. That's what's going on in this earth, man.
Tell the truth.
So you're actually part of an assassin